Not on the consent agenda. It's a resolution authorizing and approving an assignment and assumption agreement between Lebanon Senior Partners LLC and Lebanon Senior Partners II LLC relative to the previously approved enterprise zone agreement.
So, this is your summary, but if you recall, you all were asked by the City of Lebanon to do an enterprise zone for a nursing home facility on Neil Armstrong Way, just south of 123. This is what other folks have asked when they're just selling internally. We just have to assign that enterprise zone to the new entity. So it's really just more of a legal move to just make sure that the new entity has the same entitlement to that enterprise zone.
And the prosecutor's office has reviewed it.
Yes.
Yes.
So moved?
Yes.
Okay, yes, should we have a formal vote on that? Just call the roll.
Mr. Grossman?
Yes.
Mr. Young? Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Okay, anything else?
Yeah, just one other item, I put it in the summary as well, but just for everybody out there, the ATM that is in the front is going to be exiting sometime late summer, early fall. I thought it was used a decent amount, but looking back at the contract when it was created, they looked to have about 500 usages during a quarter. We have barely over 500 a year, so it's underperforming. So we'll coordinate with that to have that removed later this summer with the facilities department, but just a heads up for everybody.
Right, so the bank doesn't feel that's worthwhile.
No, and it's in the contract, so basically they're just putting this, for lack of a better phrase, on notice that they're gonna, in the contract, to remove the ATM.
Okay, is that it for that? All right, then we have a public hearing now on our 2026 tax budget. What's that?
9:05.
Okay, we gotta wait for the, all right.
2 minutes.
Let me just make sure I did what I said.
I bet you everybody here is for this tax budget, aren't you?
On the edge of their seats.
What's that?
On the edge of their seats.
You want to pass these down to me?
Sure.
Sign them all.
There are spreadsheets in front of you all also for the general fund and the non-general fund to review.
Can you give us what's going on with like the courthouse stuff, the juvenile?
Oh, it's the county court's open
Yeah.
right
The
now.
county
Yeah,
court's open.
they've opened
Is
it.
anything going on at juvenile court also, or?
No,
or
they,
just the county?
No, the county court.
yeah, the
Yeah.
county court, they moved in a few weeks back. Trevor and our office is working for a ribbon cutting, but they have to go in and demolish the old building first and repave it, and then when it's all done, probably at the end of August, we'll have a ribbon cutting.
Okay.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, we toured it, honestly, we toured it and had a lot of things to do inside the courtroom still, but it was pretty, it was very nice.
Yeah,
We
the
toured it.
paneling's beautiful, the flooring, it's gorgeous. It's beautiful what they did to it. 1 minute.
Okay.
Okay. Well, good morning. Today we are seeking approval of the 2026 tax budget, which certifies that there are funds sufficient for planning expenditures. In front of you, we did review both the spreadsheets. They break down the general fund tax budget and the non-general fund tax budget by department. The 2026 tax budget for the general fund appropriation is requesting $99 million, which is 5.9 over last year's annual, or this year's rather, 2025's annual appropriation, which was about $93 million. The anticipated revenue for the general fund in 2026 is approximately $104 million. This is just a starting point. We're still meeting with departments. We haven't made very many changes at all, but we're reviewing just to further evaluate each budget request and making necessary adjustments to the final budgets for 2026 in the fall. There continues to be zero debt under the general fund. The general fund's 2026 tax budget request supports 63% public safety, 35% operational expenses, and about 2% for social service, which is typical for year to year. The non-general fund expenses and revenue for 2026 tax budget. The non-general fund tax budget is also before you today. You can see the spreadsheet. The anticipated revenue supports their appropriation requests. And the total 2026 tax budget overall is about $310 million. So just going to give you an overview of how we're doing this year with the 2025 budget. This is as of June 1st, the numbers. Just a reminder that the annual appropriation is about $93 million. The expenses, we spent about 38% of the overall anticipated expenses for 2025, which is actually 2% less than where we were last year at the same time. The revenue, we've collected 54% of our expected revenue for 2025, which is about actually 10% above where we were last year. Sales tax revenue is up 4% from the same time last year. We've collected 55% of anticipated real estate taxes. And as of June 1st, investment income is about $4.6 million. So we're collecting more than anticipated and spending less than appropriated at this point in 2025. Any questions that you all have?
Nope. Okay. Is that it?
That's it.
All right, since this is a public hearing, I'll invite somebody from the public if they want to speak to this. Seeing none, do we need to close the public hearing, Bruce?
So moved.
And yes.
Okay.
Is there any other comment about the, from the commission here, anybody? All right, do we need to have, oh, sorry.
No, I was just gonna say is that Susan and I will present this to the tax commission in August, and as she stated, I think Lisa, you've met, but Lisa, Sue, Susan, and Crystal are working really hard, and I think we're at a great starting point. We've had years historically, which was much higher, so I think we're in a good place to have a good budget presented to you in the fall.
Okay, do we need to have any resolution on this?
She hasn't.
I do have a resolution adopting the Warren County tax budget for year 2026.
All right,
So moved.
and call the roll on that.
Mr. Grossman?
Yes?
Mr. Young? Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
All right, is there anything else?
Thank you.
Seeing none, do we, let's have a motion to close this meeting.
So moved.
All right, and now we will open our work session agenda with, even though we aren't,
It's not a
we'll
public
wait.
hearing.
It's not a public hearing, so
it's
we can
just
go
staff.
forward with that. Right, okay, so can we go forward with our Director of Building and Zoning?
Yeah. Ray, you should.
Good morning.
Morning.
My name is Ray Dratt, and I'm your Chief Zoning Inspector and Director of Building and Zoning. Always standing beside me is Michael Gladwell, your Chief Building Official and Deputy Director of Building and Zoning. You have seen me on several occasions, but Michael spends most of his days in the field. While I spend most of my days in the office, I also get out in the field and conduct zoning-related activities. Together, Michael and I visit our contracted jurisdictions and tag team building-related issues as they arise. Additionally, we often conduct and attend meetings with custom builders, the Dayton Home Builders Association, the Cincinnati Home Builders Association, and others. Your Building and Zoning Department consists of 16 employees. These employees range from inspectors to permit technicians. The current average tenure is 5 years. We have a senior employee with 26 years of service and a junior employee with only 6 months on the job. This is a far cry from 2023, but as you know, the department has undergone major changes due to retirements, reassignments, and most pleasurable promotions. Your Building and Zoning Department maintain a customer service counter, a one-on-one appointment service, and maintain a fully functional automated website. A typical day consists of approximately 10 visits from the public, several customer phone calls, and multiple emails. Your inspectors start every day at 0700 hours, taking calls and scheduling daily inspections. At 8 a.m., the phones automatically roll over to your permit technicians and their days begin. In 2024, our gross income was just over 2.5 million, and we contributed approximately 1 million back into the general fund. Additionally, we gave back to the community approximately $11,400. Your zoning department was established in 1959 and currently has has five townships, including Washington, Turtle Creek, Franklin, Union, and Harlan. We strive to maintain a great working relationship with all of our townships. While some townships have frequent communication with your zoning department, all receive equal attention when needed. Your zoning department also represents you, the county commissioners, via township meetings, Warren County Township Association meetings, and other community-sponsored events throughout the year. We also work closely with Bruce, the Warren County Prosecutor's Office, Regional Planning, Water and Sewer, Soil and Water, the Engineer's Office, and others. As of last week, your zoning department issued approximately 342 zoning permits, conducted 4 hearings, and responded to multiple zoning violations. The current trend in zoning applications is accessory structures. Everybody's building pole barns. The most common violation, chickens. Before I turn this over to your chief building official, I would like to advise you that right out of the gate, Michael began to change the way the building department functions. Immediately, and with the assistance of our team members, he standardized the plan review process. While it was met with huge resistance, it has now set the standards that others emulate, both at the state and county levels. The change was initiated within the county and now includes all of our contracted jurisdictions. One standard, one goal. Michael?
So your building department was established in December of 1969 and covers most of Warren County, including the city of Franklin, city of Lebanon, village of Butlerville. Additional jurisdictions include in Clinton County, city of Hillsborough, city of Wilmington. Your building inspectors conduct a combined total approximately 75 inspections daily. Warren County, approximately 413 permits in our contracted jurisdictions respond to 6 emergency calls so far this year. Our current trend in the building department, single-family homes, and followed closely by decks.
At this point, we'd like to open it up to questions that you have about anything we said or things that we're doing as a department.
Well, I actually I always hear very good things about the department from the building community. It's never perfect, right? When you get
Sure.
developers and others where there's that natural tension that exists, but we always hear positive feedback about how good of a working relationship you have with the community, and I certainly appreciate that. I'm curious about, and I think I know the answer, but the revenue that you generate for the general fund. Can you talk a little bit about how we derive revenue?
Yes, we create revenue from the processing of zoning applications for the zoning. There's a set fee. We have a fee schedule you guys have approved. So when you're doing a zoning application, we generate revenue from simply the process. From the building side of it, we generate revenue from the processing as well as the individual inspections. And then,
Do we contract out with entities outside of the county to provide these services?
no, we do all the services ourselves. If there's a third party involved, that is at the builder's expense.
And so the communities in Clinton County, is that borne by strictly the filed permits? It's not borne by the taxpayers in Warren County?
That's correct. When we contract with the outside jurisdictions, we have a set contract, Bruce drafts it, everybody signs it, but we generate funds from the same process. The processing fee, some organizations outside contracted jurisdictions do their own permits, and then we generate revenue from our inspections.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so when you have that revenue stream, and then you're saying that you return some $1 million back to the general fund, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
From that revenue stream.
Mhm.
So the amount that you're not returning back is used for what, to pay your
Right, it goes,
salaries?
I
your
subtracted our budget from what we generate, so we can, we try to pay off all the debts, and then at the end, when we have successfully negotiated the year, the remaining balance goes back to the general fund.
All right, and so is it year over year, are we having that same surplus level?
It's an average, and it has been fairly consistent. Currently, right now, we are approximately 100 permits behind, both in the zoning department as well as the building. Why that is, I don't know, because the activity's still out there. We're actually doing, like Michael said, 75 inspections a day, and that's maintained a pretty steady stream throughout the year.
And our charges that we charge for permits or for inspections or for applications, are those comparable to what other jurisdictions are charging?
I would think that we're actually below, probably in the middle, the median of our neighbor counties.
Okay, and I know that one of the big things that builders and developers are always concerned about is the timeliness of the processing of their applications and obtaining of permits. And I take it that, do you have a specific schedule that you like to be on, so that when you get something applied for, that you get out there and inspect it within a certain period of time?
Yes, so by the time they submit their plan review, by state, we have 30 days. Usually, I would say commercial, right now, we're about 3 weeks, and residentially, we're usually within a week.
Okay.
And
David, anything?
on that same note, we do something in Warren County that not other jurisdictions do, and that's schedule for the next day. Okay, so you can call on a Monday, and you got your concrete truck coming on a Tuesday, and you'll be scheduled and then inspected on that same day. Most jurisdictions do not offer that service. Sorry, sir.
And that's one of the things that when we were talking about some of the plan review that I found interesting, and what I'll just say is sort of modernizing it. There are certain state codes and changes that occurred, and one that was brought to my attention was a lot of folks now like those island kitchens that have that waterfall. Well, in the plan review, historically, if they wanted to put an electrical outlet in there, that would be caught, if you will, out in the field when you've already put that slab in, you've already made those notches and those types of things, and that's where finding a lot of that stuff in the plan review and standardizing that is. So there may be a little bit more review on the front end, but it allows it to be much more seamless out in the field. I don't want to steal the,
No,
that's how,
that's correct.
and so that's some of the things that Michael and we've been discussing is pretty cool.
Great. All right, well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's all right. Well,
Oh,
tell us about how do you, with the 5 townships we do this for, I mean, do they pay us a fee, or how does that work?
That's, we do not, I don't know the answer to that. I don't think we take a fee from it. We just generate the
It's
revenue.
a service we provide.
It's a
and
service we
that's-
provide,
Those are basically our customers,
That's
the
right.
residents of those 5 townships.
and then we
which-
generate,
Right, and that generates revenue from the residents, but that also allows those 5 townships not to hire people like you.
Correct.
And that actually saves them a substantial amount of money by not having their own zoning departments and outsourcing that essentially to the efficiencies of the county.
Yes, same with Wilmington, City of Wilmington, City of Hillsborough, Clinton County. It saves those other counties from starting a whole building department rather than paying us their fee schedule.
That's right, because yeah, you guys do this outside of the county a little bit.
Yes.
And that was something we directed you to do a long time ago, was try to run this like a business, and obviously you are, and that's good.
But I think the one thing that they're also doing too is really trying to drive down with their staff. I mean, you know, they have different CBO and certifications, just like we talk a little bit about in the water and sewer department. But I know that Michael and them have really been working with their staff to try to continue to have that pipeline, and obviously the higher you go up. And so it's just one of those items where we just have to kind of keep a constant watch on that, because it is a specialized department on the building side, both on the zoning and the building, but specifically the building. So it's something that we just keep an eye on.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's helpful.
All right, now we have a work session relating to our telecommunications.
Good morning.
Morning, how are you?
I'm Gary Estes. I'm the Deputy Director for Warner County Telecom. Paul Kendall's on, excuse me, Paul Kendall's on vacation, so I'm here representing him and my teammates with 4 examples of how we operate in our collaborative culture. One of those is CAD to CAD. So we led an initiative in the region to develop CAD to CAD. CAD to CAD allows the dispatch centers to transfer and know about assets between the different communities, preventing the dispatcher from having to pick up the phone every time to make those calls, sometimes 2 or 3 deep, to make these calls for CAD to CAD. So that was a really good achievement. It was region-wide. We partnered with Cincinnati, Hamilton County, and Butler County come along as well. So it's a really good asset for us, and we're really proud of that. The second was cyber with wastewater treatment. So partnering with the Go Cyber Collective, which I'm a member of, and then we also partner with Sinclair and Idaho National Labs to create a program that teaches the wastewater operators and water operators cybersecurity and how to protect those systems. The first class was held here in Warren County and was very successful. Your water operators from Warren County Water and Sewer did fantastic. They participated. The takeaways were really good. I really enjoyed the time with them. The things about that program is unique is it's EPA accredited, so they have to have certain CEOs. The EPA accepted that, so that class, they got CEOs for that. So we continue this throughout the state. The EPA will recognize that. It's also Ohio Tech Cred, so we get reimbursement from Ohio Tech Cred for those classes. The third thing I like to talk about is building bridges with the state IT. We have partners inside the county like Children's Services, Human Services, that are trapped between our account systems and then the state systems for their IT stuff. So we started this Building Bridges initiative, and with help from James Ryan from Human Services, we were able to work with the state to allow us to put some of the stuff, like we want to put in password managers for the entire county. They would be left out of that typically. So James worked with that and got that approved, and now he's working on that for Children's Services as well. So there's several items like that that we're trying to work through the whole process with those building bridges between us and the state. The last item is the HipLink, which is a product that is called HipLink. We use it for the county crisis communication system. That system's tied into dispatch. We use it for dispatching the police and fire, as well as road departments, county governments, elected officials. So we've also started using our Human Services to allow them to track and keep up with the people in the field, and that's a cost they didn't have to incur. Dispatch can see their locations when they turn it on, and their supervisors have full access to where they're at and their safety of their location. We're also using that for weather, for the information. The sheriff's office uses it a lot, and they use it in the jail as well. So we've took that one product and we've leveraged it across a whole bunch of different areas to leverage that. Lisa gave you guys a copy of our annual report. Lisa's the brainchild for that. She's the editor and creator of that. That's just the full breadth of what we did last year. It gives you more than these 4 examples of what we provide. So I just want to give credit to Paul Kendall for creating the technical environment we have, and then the culture that he's created to allow us to do this job really well and very effectively. Any questions of me?
I was just gonna share with that HipLink, what was interesting was, the HipLinks are those items that I cut and paste to you all when there's an emergency or something that goes along. But we had an issue, where there was a lot of computers that were out and those types of items, and Susan and I realized pretty quickly, we didn't have the same ability and the same thread to do that from just a pure staff perspective across the board. So Susan and Gary worked together, so now we have categories of essential workers to all staff to BOCs to whatever. So if we've got to broadcast something out like we did with the weather that came in, we have that sort of in hand now to be able to do that. So it's just like Gary and Paul and their teams working with us has been very helpful to just make sure we're communicating that effectively.
So, yeah, I mean, a lot of ways what you guys do, you know, is under the radar until it's not. It's kind of like the water service or you know, people don't think about it until it doesn't work. Whether it's 911 or the radios, but especially in today's world, one of the things I took an interest in a while ago was the cybersecurity aspect of it.
Yes, sir.
Can you talk a little bit about the expansion and what we're trying to do and being proactive, because that's one thing you cannot be reactive to. And your report was helpful, so we actually did hire a couple of more employees. Can you talk about the emphasis that we're trying to do? And even, are we currently getting attacked? Right.
Oh, absolutely. That's a standard. Everybody's getting that. And we can produce some reports to show you some of that stuff if you're interested. But you guys approved us to create a cyber unit. So we now have 3 people. Our first chief information security officer, William Cornett. It's been a fantastic program. So that started in 2025. And that took the load off of our operational staff that was doing cybersecurity with that. So we focused on the public safety network. So we've got our spend up, we're defensible, and we've leveled the cost off. We took the wastewater treatment plants. We're almost done to that. We'll have a level off by the end of the year with it too. This will be a standardized maintenance plan for financials. So now Ben and I are working through the rest of the county and what that looks like. So I'll be able to tell you more of that and give me another year or so, and we'll be able to give you a good idea what that looks like.
But from I didn't want to glance over that. From the public standpoint, is Warren County getting cyber attacked literally every day?
Yeah, we see tons of stuff, and it's the typical stuff every county has, but most county around us has actually had events. We've been lucky. We've caught them ahead of time. We've been able to stop them. But sooner or later, we will get attacked. I mean, we will have a problem. So the goal we have is not to get beat by the basics. So we're trying to put the spin and the intelligence in the way the staff defends the systems to not get beat by the basics. I cannot guarantee you'll never get hit, but just when we do, I don't want to get beat by the basics. So we've spent a lot of time and money on those basics. You guys have invested a ton per capita on that, and I'm very proud to say that you guys have done well with that. I have no complaints.
All right, good. Any other questions or comments?
No, thank you for your leadership around this. I know Commissioner Young has been a strong advocate of us doing more and being better prepared, and I see evidence of the work that you all are doing, like not just like conducting a lot of trainings for your peers around the state, which I think is, you know, underscores the quality of the work that the department is doing on this front. So
we also offer some mutual aid to other departments. So we've had other counties, and I don't want to say names, but we have other counties and communities that have had attacks. We don't get into forensics. There's a legal ramification to tie your staff in too far, but we will offer recovery capabilities, and we'll lend our staff off to do that. Short-term stuff doesn't burn us down, give us exercise capability, and that's been really good for us too. So it's been nice to be asked through the EMA channels for us to be involved in that, to help out with that. We do a lot of coaching around that area. So that's something else that I think is underlooked, but it gives us some time to get real-world experiences without having to do it on our own turf.
But I think that's, I mean, we talk about the other departments, but I think these are 2 departments here, and we try to do it for everybody, but you have a lot of folks that are outside this community that look to the expertise of your departments to assist them. I mean, obviously, Paul and Gary will ask, can I go help X community get back on their feet? But there are a lot of folks, whether it's the, you know, the water and sewer thing, I mean, with a partnership with Sinclair, and that have it actually be approved by the EPA for credentials, the things that Michael and Ray talked about with their staff and the folks. I mean, we have state and other communities looking to your department leadership, and I think that's a good story to sit there and tell.
Okay, well, thank you so much.
All right, thank you for the invite.
Take care. All right, anything else from the public? Anybody else want to make any comments to us? Anybody on the board here? No?
I can't believe it's the 1st of July.
I know.
The summer is going very fast, so I'm hoping that everybody has a safe and fun July 4th.
Okay, good.
Very good. Motion to adjourn?
Second?
Okay, yes, thank you.